when we look at our life, when we become unwell, we go to see the doctor. Right? But before that, we won't bother about the doctors or a medicine. Right? And then after we have seen the doctor, a doctor will prescribe the medicine. And then once we have taken the medicine, then we feel better. And after that again, we do not bother them again. Right? But in case if we feel ill and those medicine doesn't work and continue feeling unwell, then we will go back again and again, and then from there, then the doctors again will refer to the specialists, and then further checkups will begin. And then each time when we go and we have an expectation that after seeing this doctor and the prescription, the new prescription, not the old one, new prescription that we receive, and then after eating that, I will be free. I will be free from this illness. I will be happy, like that. And then after eating that medicine again, if doesn't make any difference, still feel unwell, and then again we go back for the further checkups. So this goes on and on. But for those who have taken the medicine and got the cured, and they will be freed from that and will not think of going back to the same situation and condition that that person is going through. Whereas someone who still feel and experiencing these illnesses and diseases, then they will go back and find different ways to cure themselves. Whether that is a modern medicine or whether that is the traditional medicine, or even any form, whoever introduced you to that saying that, oh, if you do this one, it may help you. Then, without any further investigation, we will jump into that boat and then try on it. Like that. And some would be able to help and others may not be. It depends. Now think about in a similar context that in the practice of a meditation, oftentimes we find that lots of people are exposed to the meditation and thinking that this is the one, and then try on, and after trying, and they have felt like, okay, this is the medicine, and now I have taken and I feel better, and then away, and then never come back and never do it again. And then meantime, some would say that, oh, this is really helpful, I better keep it going and keep it doing. And then after a while, then caught up with the worldly affairs and then businesses that we have to deal with that. Then again, I will do it tomorrow, and that tomorrow never comes. Like that. Whereas if we have seen the benefit clearly, and then this illness and the danger that we are facing, coming back to the samsara, this life of a birth and a death, repeatedly we are facing it. When we understood that, it's like an ongoing disease that we are having. That we are trying to find the cure so that we do not have to face again this rebirth. So, the very moment when we understood that concept, that it is not just this life that we are working, it is not just for this life that we feel comfortable and happy and free from the illnesses, but when we think about each time when we have to come back and being born, and we still have to face it again and again, and then thinking that, why should I be born again? Then we will put a lot of effort to practice meditation and try to understand that why am I having this rebirth again and again. How can I end this rebirth? Yeah? So with this in mind, once we have seen that the coming back to this repeated rebirths is a danger, and there's always kind of illnesses and the suffering, then what we will be doing is that it's like a searching for the new medicine with the different doctors. So we will be spending more time in the practice and investigating in the practice that why and how and I can develop in it. So with that, once we have got this understanding, what happens that we will become a little bit of a more conscious about the way we speak, the way we do, and the way we think. Because in a conventional level, when we think about these actions, we are looking through a physical action and a verbal actions, whereas when we practice meditation, gradually we begin to see that every action that we are doing is basically what we think. That thinking actually forms or manifests the further reactions, and that's how we will be speaking and doing. And then with that doing and speaking, basically we are forming new things, creating something new. Now when we are practicing in this way, practicing meditation, gradually we are able to recognize this thinking, the thoughts, mental state, rather than the gross level. We are seeing it in a subtle level. When we see in a subtle level in that way, and gradually we will be able to minimize it one after another until we can completely stop it and stop the recreation, stop the regenerating and the rebirths. So that is the ultimate goal. Well, that's why in order to have that, we have to have different levels of knowledge. Now, first knowledge we received from the beginning was that before we do not know how to meditate, but very moment when we come and learn how to meditate, we began to pay attention to on the breath, then immediately we got the basic knowledge that, oh, there is a breath. I feel the breath. So that is the beginning of a knowledge. And then from that knowledge, and gradually it extends to see that the breath is one thing, my awareness is another. And then further on, breath is something which is not tangible, but the very moment when it comes to contact with our senses, then there is a feeling. And then we began to understand that the feeling itself is not mine. That's another thing. And then the mind is another thing, like that. And then everything is interconnected, and depending one another, another thing is arising, like that. So these are the levels of understanding, and gradually it comes to the stage that we see everything is conditioned, created, and then when this becomes unconditioned, then it just becomes the empty, right? Just called a sunyata, or anatta, and then the very moment when we realize that, then that is the ending. So that is the highest knowledge, called a nibbita or a nibbana. So that's the knowledge. So when we are practicing now, it's up to us that which level we are in, and which stage we have understood, and the knowledge that we have acquired. Sometimes we are still in a breath, other time we are working with the sensations, feelings, and other time we are looking at the thoughts. But all, we still have the foundation to be with that, so that foundation is the breath, incoming and outgoing. So always start from it and then gradually see the difference, and not holding on to the breath, but seeing different stages and different levels of it. And we got to be, this knowledge is so-called not staying with that, but ability to change if that's possible. So that's why when we are paying attention to the breath at that time. When we see that this is no more nothing to hold on to it, so move on to the feeling. When we are working on the feeling, then realize that, oh, this feeling is like that, no need to worry about it. Now I am knowing it, so I am thinking of it, I am. So then again, so paying attention to the mental state. And then further on, after paying attention to that mental state, again understanding that the mind itself is conditioned, and this condition creates, and eventually this is a changing nature. So like that. So we have to be very clever in it, and changing the objects in it as well. Okay? So with this reflection, now this is time for the practice of a meditation. So sitting in a comfortable position, relax yourself. And bring your attention to be mindful of your sitting position here and now. So acknowledging and simply spend some time with the breath. Incoming breath and outgoing breath. Just to settle yourself down. Knowing each breath that comes in and goes out. Like the sitting at the bank of the river and watching the river flow. So breathing in and breathing out. Noticing each breath that comes in and goes out. Keep your mind alert and awake to notice each breath that comes in and goes out. And try to distinguish the different breaths. Long breath, short breath, shallow breath, deep breath, coarse. So having a clear awareness of each breath. If that's a long, knowing that this is a long breath. If that's a short breath, It's a short breath. You may further investigate that why am I having this long breath? Why am I having this short breath?